Us that try to make a difference and do anything about it. Mr. Secretary, Senator Feinstein, representatives from the states of California and Oregon, distinguished visitors, members of our honorees family, it is a privilege to share this stage with three young men who did something about evil. Today we're here to honor Specialist Alex Garlatos, Airman First Class Spencer Stone, and Mr. Anthony Sadler for what they did in their heroic action that day on a train bound for Paris. We're here to honor their bravery and their willingness to act. It's awful difficult for us to imagine what might have happened on that train that day had they not taken action. And for that heroism, we are here to present the Soldier's Medal and the Airman's Medal, the service's highest award for members who have distinguished themselves in non-combat heroic action, which involved risking their own lives, as well as the Medal of Valor, a medal that was brought into being after September 11th, 2001 for civilians who took the same risk. I stand before you today as a person who owes his life to an airman. That airman risked his life to save mine, not unlike these three young men did that day on that train. And I have lived my life and led my career with the abiding belief that when each of us who wear this uniform or choose to defend this nation are called, we will do the right thing. Gentlemen, thank you for acting. Thank you for being people that cared enough to make a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to introduce to you our Secretary of Defense, Ashton Carter.
Good afternoon. General Salva, thank you. Little less than a month ago, three childhood friends were on a train bound for Paris when they heard a gunshot. Amid screams and commotion of the passengers, they quickly focused on a man wielding an AK-47. Almost instantly, one of them said, "Let's go," and the three ran toward the shooter. Those three friends are with us here today. Thank you, Alec, Spencer, and Anthony, for what you did on that train and for joining us here. Distinguished guests, Senator Feinstein, Senator Wyden, Senator Merkley, Congressman Barra, colleagues here, past and present, members of the Defense Department and community, it's a pleasure to come together to welcome and recognize Alec, Spencer, and Anthony, welcome them home, to celebrate the heroic action they took at great risk to themselves, and to reward them our highest commendations. We also want to recognize some of their friends and families here today. To all of you, thank you. You raised some great kids. Yeah. Well done. Alec is a National Guardsman. After returning home from a deployment to Afghanistan, he recently chose to enlist. Spencer is a medic based at Logis Air Base in Portugal, and next month he's headed to Travis Air Base, California. And Anthony is starting his year at Sacramento State University, where I'm sure he'll have the best "what I did on summer vacation" story of anybody. And that's because after Alex said, "Let's go," he and Spencer and Anthony sprinted toward the gunman while he trained his rifle on them. Spencer tackled the assailant, and the three worked to disarm him. As we know, Spencer was stabbed in that effort. After they knocked out the gunman, they tended to other injured on board before paramedics and police arrived. It's an amazing story, right out of a movie. and Alex, Spencer, and Anthony have been rightly celebrated on both sides of the Atlantic. But I want to focus on the moment when they heard the gunshot and when they took off toward it. Think about that moment. When some took cover and ran, when others were unsure what to do, these three friends said, "Let's go." And if that sounds familiar, it's because it is. Last week, for example, we gathered here as a community to mark the anniversary of the September 11th attacks. On that day, on United Flight 93, a group of passengers with the words, "Let's roll," stood up and fought back against the terrorists who had aimed the plane toward Washington. And while these heroes were lost, we will always remember and appreciate their courage and sacrifice. Let's go should also ring true to many in this building because it speaks to our mission here. Each member of the Defense Department, in uniform and civilian, has chosen to dedicate themselves to standing between order and disorder, between the way of life we cherish and those who would threaten it. And that's one reason that America has the finest fighting force the world has ever known. Like Alec and Spencer, each man and woman who serves in our defense enterprise has looked at that world and at those risks and said, "Let's go." It's a perfect example of the force that we have now and the force of the future. Active duty, guard, and civilian team together to produce a powerful force, acting agilely in concert, each one important. And it's also familiar because the words "let's go" are as American as these three friends are. Time and again, challenge after challenge, the sound of gunshots and danger, the world has turned to the United States, to its military, for help. And generation after generation, we've answered with a simple "let's go." And the resolve necessary to beat back dangers and stand up for the values so many around the world hold dear. Ours is a world full of opportunities and challenges. Thanks to young guardsmen and airmen like Alec and Spencer, and many other soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines like them, and young citizens like Anthony, I'm confident that we will continue to grasp hold of the bright opportunities and meet the evil challenges, echoing these same simple, stirring words of theirs, "Let's go." From the Pentagon to you three guys, well done.
Specialist Alex Skarlatos and General Silva, please join Secretary Carter in front of the flags. Mr. Fanning, General Grass, and Sergeant Major Brush, please join for the award presentation on stage.
Well, the best Johnny is like, it's whatever, I can't help it.
Attention to orders. The President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress 2 July 1926, has awarded the Soldier's Medal to Specialist Alexander Skarlatos. For heroism above and beyond the call of duty on 21 August 2015, Specialist Skarlatos distinguished himself in a courageous manner, voluntarily accepting risk to his own life on board a high-speed train carrying hundreds of passengers in the proximity of the French and Belgian borders. Specialist Skarlatos' brave actions prevented a potentially catastrophic loss of life. Specialist Skarlatos, unarmed, led the effort to confront a gun-wielding assailant. He physically disarmed, subdued, and restrained the attacker. This selfless act of courage prevented potential massive casualties. Thanks to Specialist Skarlatos' heroic efforts, minimal injuries were sustained by passengers. His actions are in keeping with the finest traditions of the 186th Infantry Regiment and the United States Army. We are honored to have congressional delegation from California and Oregon join us for this special presentation. Senator Feinstein, Senator Wyden, Senator Merkley, Dr. Bera, please join Specialist Scarlatos on stage for a photo. Thank you, Specialist Scarlatos, elected officials, and service leadership. Airman First Class Stone, please join Secretary Carter and General Silva in front of the flags. Secretary James, General Welsh, Chief Master Sergeant Cody, please join for the award presentation on stage. Attention to orders. The award of the Airman's Medal to Spencer J. Stone. Airman First Class Spencer J. Stone distinguished himself by heroism involving voluntary risk of life while traveling on a high-speed train in Belgium, en route from Amsterdam, Netherlands to Paris on 21 August 2015. On that date, Airman Stone immediately responded after seeing a heavily armed gunman enter his train car prepared to fire an AK-47 assault rifle. Without regard for his personal safety and without hesitation, he sprinted unarmed towards the gunman and brought him to the ground. The gunman was armed with the assault rifle, an automatic pistol, 270 rounds of ammunition, a box cutter, and a bottle of gasoline. An intense physical altercation ensued, and despite receiving multiple lacerations on his face, neck, and thumb, Airman Stone, with the help of other passengers, was able to disarm the gunman. After choking the gunman to the point of unconsciousness, Airman Stone ensured he was restrained and unable to move. Next, completely ignoring his own injuries, Airman Stone exhibited extraordinary poise while rendering critical life-saving medical care to stop the bleeding caused by a gunshot wound to the neck suffered by another passenger. Airman Stone's decisive actions prevented the gunman from opening fire on unarmed civilians, potentially saving the lives of hundreds of passengers on board, and definitely saving the life of a wounded passenger. The exemplary courage and heroism displayed by Airman Stone reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Attention to orders. The Purple Heart is awarded to Airman First Class Spencer J. Stone. Airman First Class Stone was wounded in an attack while on board a French-operated Amsterdam to Paris high-speed train in the vicinity of the border between Belgium and France on 21 August 2015. Airman Stone joined the effort to confront and subdue a foreign national motivated by radical religious influence who intended to cause mass harm to the occupants of the train. As a long-standing priority target for multiple terrorist organizations, France has suffered several attacks during 2015. In my judgment, for the purposes of this award, these circumstances meet the executive order criteria for an international terrorist attack against a foreign nation friendly to the United States. We are honored to have congressional delegation from California join us for this special presentation. Senator Feinstein and Dr. Berra, please join Airman Stone on stage for a photo. Thank you, Airman Stone, elected officials, and service leadership. Mr. Anthony Sadler, please join Secretary Carter and General Silva in front of the flags. Deputy Secretary Work, please join for the award presentation on the stage. Attention to orders. The award of the Office of Secretary of Defense Medal for Valor to Anthony Sadler. On August 21, 2015, Mr. Anthony Sadler boarded a train in Amsterdam, Netherlands, carrying hundreds of passengers destined for Paris, France. 2 hours into the trip, just after crossing the border into France, witnesses reported an individual entering a lavatory along with his luggage. The individual emerged from the lavatory sometime later, brandishing an AK-47 assault rifle. After hearing a struggle, and while unarmed, Mr. Sadler charged at the gunman, alongside 2 U.S. service members. He disarmed and subdued the gunman. After assisting in the tying up of the gunman, Mr. Sadler reassured that passengers that they were no longer in danger. Reports from witnesses and investigative agencies after the incident indicated that the gunman was heavily armed with approximately 270 rounds of ammunition and was on a European watch list of questionable individuals. Mr. Sadler distinguished himself in a heroic manner by voluntarily accepting risk to his own life, preventing potential catastrophic loss of life, and protecting the lives of 2 U.S. service members. We are honored to have the congressional delegation from California join us for this special presentation. Senator Feinstein and Dr. Berra, please join Mr. Sadler on stage for a photo. Thank you, Mr. Sadler, elected officials, and Department of Defense leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving another round of applause to these three Americans. Please remain standing for the playing of the Armed Forces Service Medley by the U.S. Army Band Brass Quintet.
We always ready for the call. We place our trust in Thee. Through southern storm and tolling gale, I shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die, I Coast Guard we are for you. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Atom boys, give her the gun, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Up with one hell of a run. We live in flame, we'll go down in flame. Ain't nothing can stop the heroes of war. Anchors away, my boy, anchors away. Farewell to foreign shores, we sail at break of day. Through the last night on shore, drink deep the foam. Until we meet once more, here's wishing you a happy voyage home. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battle. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence out and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the departure of the official party. Thank you for joining us. This concludes today's award ceremony.